Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a layout for you featuring the November cut to you cut of the month. We're going to work in my travel album, so I was just showing you some of the pages I've already done from this trip. This is the section of my travel album where we were in James Madison's home. And so I have a couple of, I think I end up using 5 photos from inside the house, just some really cool kind of pictures that I took that I really liked. And we're going to pair them with the cut to you cut of the month for November, which is very travel themed. So I'm going to start by taking off the positive section of the cut file here. I'm going to carefully kind of take it off my mat, and I'm preserving all the inside of the letters because I'm going to do my favorite cut file technique today. We are going to inlay all those letters back in. So I'm starting with the positive outside edge of the cut file. I am inking it all up using Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink. I'm going very carefully so that I don't smush or rip these letters because they are quite delicate. Today's video and project is very bittersweet for me. I've decided to leave Cut to Use design team, so today will be my very last design team project. I will still be using their cut files every chance I get because I really love them. Gwen is amazing. I have been on this team for quite a few years. I'm super excited about some of the new things I have been offered recently. And so I've decided to step back and resign from Gwen's team. But rest assured, I adore her and love her, and I will still be using her cut files quite often. Once I had that whole cut file covered with some Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink, I'm spritzing it with a mini mister, and I'm going to blot off some of that. And then that Distress Oxide ink is going to create those fun little oxidized areas on my cut file. Next, I'm going to come in with some of the Gilded Aqua pigments from Brutus Monroe and a fan brush, and I'm going to splatter that all over my cut file and set it aside to dry. And then we're going to work on the inside of the cut file. I am going to keep the inside of all of the letters on the cut file right on my mat. This is a Nakapa mat from Amazon, and they are the best mats for silhouettes. I love these mats so much. I love them more than the brand, the silhouette mats. They're fabulous. I'm leaving the inside of the cut file on my mat, and I'm going over it with a blending brush and some Juniper Mist ink from Catherine Pooler. I am not trying to get a really even blend. I don't mind if these look a little blotchy or a little shaded with some light and dark areas. That's really going to add to the way the finished cut file looks. And I'm just going to go over this entire cut file with all of this color. And then I'm going to go over it with my fan brush and more of the aqua pigment in Gilded. I love, 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 love this aqua pigment in Gilded with a fan brush. I just think these splatters are the most perfect splatters you can get. Like, they're so, so, so good, you guys. So I am just going to liberally splatter them and then set it off to the side to dry. Now, the positive parts of my cut file are dried, and I'm going to get them into place. I'm going to go through with my photos now and kind of figure out where the photos are going to go, what I want to use, because once I start to put the cut file down, I'm going to glue it right to the page, and wherever I put it, that's where it is. So I had originally pulled 3 photos for my layout. And I'm going to go ahead and add in 2 more, which I'm super happy about because that's just more travel photos that I can fit on a page with this beautiful cut file. So I started this section of my travel album last year. These are all the photos from Montpelier, which was James Madison's home. And I have documented most of it. So I still have, I think, 2 more pages left to do. And both of those pages I need to add some journaling to. But this was just little interesting things that I saw through the tour of our house that I really enjoyed and liked. I do love old homes and old vintage things. So things like the that really cool globe and certain desks and things that I just liked. These are just the photos from the different parts of the house that I liked. For all of the photos of the house, I have been using a travel collection from 49th and Market. Now, this would have been last year's travel collection. I think it's called Wherever. And I didn't buy it all. I did buy quite a bit, though. And I have been able to use it for this whole section of my travel album. And I still have enough to finish up these 2 pages, which is how I have been really enjoying putting this travel album together. We went away for close to 10 days and we did all kinds of stuff. And so for each kind of section, I've been choosing a collection to use throughout that kind of section, which I have been really liking. And I might end up with 2 albums once all is said and done, but this was a big trip for us and we really enjoyed it. So that's totally fine. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my photos into place and adhere down. Across the bottom of my page, I added the addition of one of the branding strips from one of the pattern papers. I really thought that we needed somewhere for all of this to kind of set, and that just worked really well without taking up too much space. I do have to be mindful of space with this particular page because I have my title area, which is the cut file, and that's quite large, and then I'm adding 5 photos as well. Next, before I adhere down my cut file, I want to make sure I'm not creating any areas of trapped white space. Because I'm using a white cardstock background, I knew that there would be areas just in the way that these photographs are laid out where I have it's possible that I could end up with these little areas of white that will completely just like pop out at you. To try my best to kind of keep that from happening, I'm coming in with some of these large rub-ons. This is from the same 49th and Market collection. And these are like large, they're almost like map pieces or like a little bit of like mixed media type looking. And I'm going to add them to a couple different areas of my layout. Again, where I feel like, oh, see, like right there at the end of travel. And then when the photo starts, there would be this square of perfect white. And when you consider kind of like the contrast of the cut file and different things, I just want to make sure that I'm not creating any of those areas before I add the cut file down. Once I was sure of my cut file placement and how I was going to lay this down and I wasn't creating any white spaces, I put a ton of glue on the back of my cut file, and now I am slowly but surely getting everything into place. And I am letting that cut file kind of overlap some of these photos because I am, again, just documenting different areas and cool elements that I liked from the house. And it is okay. There is a lot of kind of open space in a lot of these photos, so I wasn't worried about that. Now that I have the cut file into place, I am going to, quite meticulously, put all these letters into the cut file, and I am doing an inlay technique, which means I didn't back the cut file. I'm actually laying those pieces down back into the cut file. All of the letters into place, I wanted to clean my mat off. I'm going to show you how I do this because it's super easy. So I'm starting with this little scraper tool, which is the scraper tool from Tim Holtz. It's supposed to go with his mixed media cut mat, which I do have, but I use it for tons of stuff. And I use it on my glass board studio mat all the time. And then we're just going to wipe this up. And that's it. So just scrape off the paper, wipe it off with a baby wipe, let it dry. It is sticky and perfect and done. And now let's take a look at our finished page and add some last little details to it. I absolutely love how this layout turned out. Now, once I had the cut file and the photos in place, there isn't a lot of room or space to add much in the way of embellishments. Just a couple little areas I'm going to add some accents to. So I added a little stack of suitcases and a couple little pieces to the top of my cut file. I'm going to add a couple little pieces that are going to overlap the Bon Voyage part of the cut file because honestly, we weren't on a cruise ship at all. So Bon Voyage seems just a little bit like goofy. And I thought, well, we'll just cover up some of it. You'll get the idea. You'll kind of know what it says, but you'll also be more inclined to look at the embellishments that I'm going to place on top of that. And so I'm going to I'm just using the die cut pack from this collection and just kind of putting in some little bits and pieces here and there. And then our layout is done. In the description box below, I will leave links to the cut of the month cut file at Cut to You. I will leave links to the elements that I used for my cut file, as well as those fun silhouette Nakapa mats. And if I can find any of the 49th and Market collection, I will leave that as well. But I'm not sure if it is available at a Cherry on Top anymore, but I will leave it if I can find it. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Look at those splatters, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.